Hi friends, Chris here. So I wanted to welcome you to my first ever WIP and chat, as it were. I'm calling it episode 1, the Proust Questionnaire. I don't know how many of these I'll do. I'm certainly not going to have a schedule for them. I might do one occasionally. I'm someone who, even though I talk a lot on my videos, in general, I'm kind of a quiet person. So unless I have something set that I have to say, I don't have much to say generally. So, like I said, I don't know how many I'm going to do. I don't know, maybe this might be the only one. Who knows? So I hope you enjoy it. I'll tell you, I'm working on... So I just finished my Dreamer design, Round Exuberance. It was great. I loved it. How it came out. I haven't posted the video of it yet, I don't think, of the finished product, but I will soon. And so before I start, that was a big one. So before I start my next one, which is going to be a big one, the Christmas one, I decided to do this one, another Christmas themed one. This is from Crystal Canvas Art. It's the little Pride snowman. I'm working on the bottom. I did a section on the bottom, and I'm working on this bottom part over here. Let's see. So I wanted to say, so when I posted the video of the 2 Diamond Art Club Christmas canvases that just came out, I asked you all what you would like me to do, and so basically almost everybody said the festive fireplace. Now, I don't know, I was kind of surprised by that, because I figured most people would have picked the Santa one, the Christmas, I think it was called Christmas Morning. But no, it was the other way. I don't know if it's that's generally more people like that one, or if it's because I did say, and I've said it before, Dominic Davison is my favorite Diamond Art Club artist. So I don't know if people just said that because they thought I would want that. I don't know. Anyways, so I was honestly, now don't be mad, I was honestly going to do whichever one you all said, and even though that was an overwhelming majority said that in the past couple days since I posted it, I've kind of honestly decided to do the Santa Christmas Morning one, and I'll tell you why. I decided to do that because I might as well start working on this while I'm talking to you. So I decided to do that because I wanted to do something that I know my dad would like. It's just the 2 of us now, and he sees me working on these all the time, of course. But I decided, he's kind of like I don't know how I would describe. I don't want to say old-fashioned kind of Christmas person, but he's kind of like I'm someone who likes more, if you say unusual or modern or type Christmas thing. Like, for instance, for many years when I was in high school, I'm a single child, so I kind of, in a way, get my way a lot. So we had a white Christmas tree for a long time. Last year was the first time we ever had a real live Christmas tree. And last year we only did that because it was kind of easier for us just to get one and just do it and put maybe a couple things on it, because we still wanted Christmas. But again, I hate to bring it up every time I do a video, but I'll do it again. My mom died in December, a few weeks before Christmas. We weren't exactly in the Christmas spirit. We were all sick still at the same time, and so I didn't. And certainly he doesn't, because he doesn't do any of the decorating or anything. We didn't want to drag any kind of Christmas stuff up, and the tree and the ornaments and everything. So we got a smaller real tree. It was the first time ever. I personally don't like the smell of Christmas trees. I know a lot of people do, but I hate it. Luckily for that tree that we did get didn't really have that strong of a smell, thankfully. And we just put on. I just put on a. I don't even remember if I put any lights on. I might have put like maybe one strand. I don't honestly remember right now, but I know I put on. I had this string of like gold. This gold kind of garland thing that I had bought once, and I never used for anything, so I just had that stuffed in a drawer. And I put some like a couple ornaments here or there on it that I did bring up from the basement. And so that was last year, and I plan to do Christmas earlier this year. I'd probably right after Thanksgiving I'm going to bring the tree up, because I know when when December comes, I'm not going to want to do it. I don't know how I personally am going to feel with, getting closer to the 1 year kind of anniversary thing with that happening. So I'm going to try to put up the Christmas tree this year as soon as possible, right after Thanksgiving, which actually I used to do anyways. Most of the time I used to do it like a week or two after Thanksgiving, and I used to keep it up until after my birthday, which is in January. So anyway, I say all that to say, so I used to have a white tree, and I always use white lights on the tree, and I kind of like more of a gold and silver kind of person as opposed to red and green, where he's somebody more who's into the red and green and the kind of more, I don't want to say cutesy, but kind of more the what you call a traditional type Christmas decor person. So that's why I decided to do the Christmas morning one, the Santa, because that's much more of a Christmas, like a traditional family Christmassy thing with the reindeer and the Santa and the gifts and all that. Whereas the fireplace one is more of like what I would call a classy kind of thing, because it had the pets, but it had the tree and the fireplace and a big chair, So, anyways, well, I know that was a long explanation, but so that's why I decided to do that one instead. And so I wanted to do this one as well. I wanted to have this one done for Christmas too. I just ordered some ABs, for which when I get, I'll do an unboxing of them, or unbagging, whatever, to show you all what I got. I have, like I said before in another time, I've had a number of square diamond paintings that I haven't done yet, and eventually when I do, I'm going to want to add some more ABs to the ones I have. So I kind of did a guesstimate of what colors I would need. I don't remember how many I ordered, something maybe 12 or something. And then that includes a couple I might use for this Christmas one. So I decided to do, since I put the order now, and hopefully I'll get it maybe next week sometimes. I hope. I don't know how long it's going to take for them to ship out, but usually I'm sure they're pretty quick on that. So, and this should definitely be done in a week's time. It's just 2 days, and the bottom half of this is going to be, a third of it's going to be done in just 2 days on this one I have here. So I wanted to do this before I did that, and also, since I just finished a huge one, to have a little break from the big ones. It's always nice to go big, little, so that's what I'm doing. I don't use, or I don't have a specialty or a like handcrafted kind of diamond pen. I just never got around to getting one. And I don't know what kind I like, because I don't know how, there's so many different designs in them, and I need something that I know my hand would fit. So I know they have ones that like a lot of these kind of carved things in them, and I don't think I would like that at all. I need more of a normal, I guess, type of design on it. I like those fatter ones that have a little bit of shape in it, not those really thin ones. I don't like those. Those don't look too nice. At least for me, I don't care for them. I think I'll eventually get one, but I just haven't gotten one yet. So I still use the kinds that they send you. And I'm using two here. First of all, I use my straightener. And I use this one is what I'm using to multi-place. I'm kind of not using the actual single plate placer. I'm kind of actually using the one I use for the straightener, because in the straightener I have the regular pink wax on here, and in the multi-placer clear one I have the excuse me for a second. I have I forgot what they're called already. Those they're the glue dots. And they work really good, but I don't know, maybe on rhinestones they're just not as nice, because I pick them up and they stay on them. I put them down on the glue and they won't come off. I've really battled through a lot of this side over here. And I had to pick them off because they just would stay on the pen. So getting them using the old-fashioned way, I guess, to put down a few with the single placer is a lot easier. Okay, I think I'm done with this color. Yep. So I hope you all are doing well. And if I didn't say it, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy it. Let's go with some yellows. So, the topic that I decided to talk about today, and that's one other thing I want to just mention. I don't watch I never watch people's live videos. It's just something I don't do, and I don't watch very many WIP chats either. It's not because I don't like it necessarily. I do watch some, and from a few people. I'll occasionally if I see them post, and especially if I'm diamond painting at the time, I'll then put it on and I'll listen while I diamond paint and they diamond paint. But there's only a few people I'll do that with, and I don't do it all that often. Everybody is so I'm like, as I've said before about myself, I consider myself a recluse. I don't leave my house too much. I don't have really a personal life or anything, and just being here is my life. But everybody else seems so busy, but yet they have time to do so many things, including including their hobby. For you who diamond paint and raise kids, have jobs, and all that other stuff. And you all can watch everybody's stuff on here. I can't do that. I diamond paint a few hours a day. Well, depending on what I'm working on, I don't want to put a set time to it. But, I take care of stuff around the house, and I cook, and, all that kind of other stuff. But, I kind of, and I watch video, I do watch YouTube videos of diamond painting stuff, and I don't know. I don't have time to watch all that stuff. And the thing is, I like to watch actual TV shows, so, a lot of times when I'm diamond painting, I'll put it on just to and I just listen to it. Usually I like to listen to, I don't have any now in there because I had to make room in my DVR, but I really like the crime shows, like the real life crime shows, like stuff from the ID channel and stuff from like Oxygen, and stuff like that. So I'll usually watch those things. I'll put them on, and oops, what happened to that one? And listen to that while I'm doing it. So I'd say all that to say, I don't know how other people what they talk about, if they have set like topics, if they just talk about their daily life. So I'm not too sure. So I'm gonna, at least in this one, I'm gonna do almost a somewhat getting to know you kind of thing, but not really. I mean, it's not like what's your favorite color or where do you want to live and all that kind of stuff. It's more like I said in the beginning. I have 35 questions. I know I'm 16 minutes in, but this might be a long one because I kind of expand on, when I talk about things, I kind of expand on my thoughts. So I have the Marcel Proust Questionnaire. It's 35 questions. And for anybody who wants to know, who doesn't know who he is, he was a Frenchman. He was an essayist. I can't say that word. He wrote essays, let's just say that. And he was a writer and all that. And there was a game, I guess, back then about, questions. And he became, I don't know, he was known for it. And if you ever watched Inside the Actor's Studio with John Lipton, he kind of took off part of that, and also he also used it. It's a kind of a takeoff of that, but also from another man called Prévost, I think his name was. So it's along the same lines. Anyways, so let's get into it. Like I said, it's kind of getting to know you, kind of get into my little brain, the scary dark place that's there. So, let's start. Let's see. Question number 1. What is your idea of perfect happiness? Well, that is hard for me because I'm not somebody who necessarily, I don't want to say I don't believe in happiness, because I do. I think I'm someone who believes in happy moments. As someone who's, I guess, struggled with depression my whole life, and I'm kind of what I always called myself a realist. I think there's just a lot of bad stuff and bad people, and I don't know. I'm kind of a negative that way, and it's unfortunate, but that's just the way I am. And it's kind of weird because I also call myself a very Jekyll and Hyde person, because I'm two things at once. A lot of times I'm two things at once. Like, while I am a kind of a negative person that way, and I'm a pessimist in ways, I'm also, if you meet me in person, and certainly from the lovely things people have said to me, I'm also a very nice person. So a lot of times wouldn't assume, say that somebody who has the feelings that I do about pessimism or negativity, just in general about, like, I guess the world or people, you wouldn't then say, oh, well, they're just the sweetest person ever. But that's kind of how I am. I'm a very sweet, nice person, and I'm open about that. Listen, I'm somebody who's open and honest about my faults and my attributes. So I am a very nice, lovely person. That's something I know I am, and I've always known it. I was raised right, and that's my life. My personal life experience has made me a nice, caring person. But I also look at the other darker side of life, and so happiness is hard for me. I have had happy moments. I don't know how I could say what what perfect happiness is. I would, obviously, in like real life situation, I loved, kind of, again, going back to my mom sort of thing. It was great when I would spend time talking to her, or we'd be at the table, especially in the last couple years. Or last year, I could, as the closest thing I could think of, I got her into diamond painting, and so we would diamond paint together, and, we would watch TV, or we would talk about stuff, or, I'd joke around with her. We had this little code between us about certain things, and, that was happy times. In my mind, what I would think would be happiest, if I could think of what would the happiest, how I think I could be happy, like in a fantasy kind of way, it's I want to be in love. I want to be in one of those beautiful islands in wherever, the Caribbean, anywhere else, one of those, with those little straw hut thingies, and how they have the beautiful crystal blue water and the white sand beaches, and just being there with the person I love. That if I could choose, like, what I think happiness would be, like ultimate happiness, that would be my ultimate happiness. Okay, number 2. You know what? This is 20 minutes already. I'm going to cut this list in half. When I do my second WIP in chat, that'll be the second half of this questionnaire. So you don't have to worry about sitting here for 2-3 hours listening to me. So question number 2. What is your greatest fear? My greatest fear, I guess again, going back to my kind of secluded life. My greatest fear is not being loved. Now, I'm kind of somebody who's part of the reason why I'm so much of a recluse, and I keep to myself, is I'm kind of like controlled by my fears. I'm completely honest with my faults, and that's one of them. I'm controlled by my fears. I'm afraid of everything, basically. I'm afraid of the world. I'm just afraid of living. That's what it is when it comes down to it. So that's hard to deal with, and it's hard to kind of move on and have a life when you're afraid of everything, and you're just basically afraid of life. And my greatest fear is because of all those little fears that wind up into the biggest fear, is that I'm basically going to, I guess, wind up alone or be alone and not be loved. Especially romantic love. I know it's the great thing to say now that you don't need anybody to complete you, and as long as you love yourself, blah 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 blah. And that's great. Of course, you should love yourself. That's the most important thing, is to, I guess, love yourself. But I'm not somebody who is like, oh, you don't need somebody. You just love yourself, and that should be it. No, I don't think that at all. I think, we're living, breathing things. We crave people, and whether it's friends, whether it's lovers, whatever it is, and I don't believe that just loving yourself is good enough for happiness, or for whatever, for life. And so that's my greatest fear, is that I'll never find somebody that way. Okay, number 3. What is the trait you most deplore in yourself? Oh, this is getting... Gee, I hope this isn't being too negative for you all. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. But this is the questions. What is the trait you most deplore in yourself? Well, I guess I just said it, so I don't have to go much further into it, is my fear. So, let's not talk about it anymore. What is the trait you most deplore in others? Well, that's kind of easy too for me, I guess. I guess it would be kind of lack of empathy, or lack of caring. I don't know, I don't know how people are so selfish, and they just don't care about others. They don't care. I mean, on the surface, people act like, oh, we're caring and loving, and we want to help and do stuff for other people. And surfacely, they say that, I think, again, kind of a thing to make them... Oh, see? It's sticky. It won't come off. I think people want to believe that they're like that, and I think that people want to believe society is like, all nice and we all come together. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think maybe in big circumstances or sad circumstances, that might be for a little while, like national we've seen some national stuff happening where, people have come together during tragedies, but beyond that, every day, no, people are basically just selfish and selfish, not shellfish. So I really deplore selfishness, uncaringness, lack of empathy. I'm somebody who's full with that stuff, and I can't understand at all how people don't feel the same way. Okay, let's see. Number 5. Which living person do you most admire? I would say it's somebody who I've admired for a long time. Well, let me just throw this out. Someone else. Well, I don't know if it'll be. I did read the questions earlier, but I will say she's not here anymore, but somebody who I greatly admired, and I think she deserves a shout out because she just left us with, of course, the great notorious RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I greatly admired her, not only her story, but her way of handling things, her just the way she what am I trying to say? The way she presented her decisions, all that kind of stuff. But she's not here anymore, and it's not. And this is about who's living do I admire. Now, I'll get back to that. I just wanted to give her a shout out there. So, this person who I admire greatly, I don't know, might surprise or might think why, but I'll tell you. And that is, I really admire Mia Farrow. I think not only, first of all, that's another thing when I'm talking about Jekyll and Hyde thing. I love Mia Farrow, but I also love Woody Allen. Now, I don't want to get into what he's accused of because, listen, I know this is going off on a tangent on something not related, but I kind of probably do believe the accusations that his daughter has made against him. And it doesn't help, of course, with what happened with Soon Yi. So I do believe it, but I say I don't admire him. Did I say I admire him? I don't admire him as far as being a human, that's for sure. But I think he is my favorite filmmaker. I adore his films, and I'm just the kind of person, and you can judge me if you want, even if what happened, I just can't not watch his films. They're just that good. I think they mean a lot to me in a lot of different ways. Certain ones, and the serious ones and the funny ones are just funny. But I admire him as a creator, not as a person. So that's where I'm saying is this Jekyll and Hyde thing with me is that while he's my favorite director and writer, she is the person I admire the most, and of course their history and all is kind of weird. So I admire her because I think she's a great actress, number one. But number two is I admire that I don't want to say mostly, but she, and people turned it into a joke about all her kids, but I really admire the fact that she has given so many children a home. And a lot of these, the crazy thing is a lot of these children are brilliant. These children are very smart, have been successful. And a lot of the children, a number of them I believe have died because she's also adopted children who had I don't know exactly remember all of the things, but either physical or mental issues. I'm sure probably physical is the issues with them. But they've had medical issues, and let's face it again, a lot of people just want the beautiful bouncing baby, but she's taken children from around the world, given them homes and loved them. and some of them, like I said, have not survived because of their ailments. And to do that is, I think, very hard as a person. I mean, to deal with that. I'm sure they're her children. She loved them. And knowing that could happen, I think is really hard. So I admire her for that, for her children, what she's done with her children, and adopted the amount of children she has. And finally, I admire her because of her works, her like charitable and activist works. She's done a lot for peace and things like that, and anti-war stuff and things. So I just think she's a wonderful person. Okay, number 6. What is your greatest extravagance? My greatest extravagance is basically kind of what you're seeing right now. Is my diamond painting. Again, going back to, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but I live a kind of a, boring, if you want to say lonely life here. I don't buy a lot of clothes, and when I do buy clothes, I buy cheap clothes. I'm a very cheap person. I don't like spending money. I'm certainly not on certain kinds of things. Like, to me, clothes is just clothes. I don't need fancy clothes. I don't spend a lot on clothes when I do have to buy them. I don't go out to eat. I don't go to the movies. Really, I hardly ever go to the movies. I've gone maybe a couple times in the past 10 years. So, and I just don't have really, I'm just not a shopper. I don't really have things to buy. I'm kind of content with what I have here. This is my hobby. And this is basically the greatest extravagance I have, because diamond painting basically isn't cheap. Obviously you can buy budget, obviously from the budget kind of sites, you could buy certain ones, but I kind of buy the more quality and higher cost ones now, and that's kind of where my extravagance goes. And like I just said in the beginning, buying extra diamonds, things like that. So I can't think of anything else to say about that. Number 7. What is your current state of mind? Well, that's hard because, I don't want to get into it too much because I don't want to turn anybody off. And again, I don't want to get negative. I know, I'm sorry some of these answers seem so negative. I'm kind of, and I'll go back to it again, very Jekyll and Hyde with how I feel right now. My state of mind is kind of positive, but worried, basically about this whole election stuff. And of course, well, first of all, before the election stuff, I'm not going to get too much into it, don't worry. But certainly the coronavirus, geez, I'm pretty negative about that. This disaster of how it's been handled. So I'm kind of worried with, and now we're getting, the infections or the contracting is rising throughout most of the states again, and again, people just not seeming to be careful. It is kind of a complacency and letting your guard down, plus some people they always call now the things, virus fatigue, and well, that's lovely. You can be tired of it all you want. Listen, who isn't tired of it? Nobody wants this around, but guess what? You still got to do what you got to do to keep everybody safe. Doesn't matter how sick of you're wearing masks or social distancing or not being able to go here or not seeing your family. I don't know. I mean, geez. We're talking about something that is very dangerous, and just the complacency and just like, well, no, I know is sick, so I'll just do what I want around them. No, 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 no. You should be acting the same as you acted 5 months ago, and that hopefully that was acting correctly. I don't like this whole being lax now because maybe you don't hear about hospitalizations or people around you aren't getting sick. Well, that's great. I'm happy. I don't hope they don't get sick, but you still got to be vigilant. That's why some people, if you're lucky around you, haven't gotten sick, because people hopefully have been vigilant. Anyways, so that's kind of on my mind all the time. And then the election stuff, I'm kind of, and this will probably come up pretty soon again, but needless to say, I hope things change, and I have a positive feeling that it will. I don't think that horrible man will stay in office. You know, I kind of tend to have good instincts with people and with certain situations. I'm usually not fooled by things happening or people. I could talk about 2 times I were fooled by people another time. Public people, not personal people. But, like, if you go back, I'm going to go back to, like, when I first started following politics and just civics and how the country ran. Obviously, like most people, I'm sure, first you realize it kind of is when you're a teenager, late teenager, and mine first time was in 2000 when, I was 18, graduating high school, and voted for the first time and all that stuff. I had a feeling that George W. Bush was going to win. I was right. I had a feeling he would win again during the 2004. I was right. I kind of had a feeling that Obama would win again. I was right both of those times. And in 2016, I had a feeling that this country would put that man in office, and they did. So I kind of feel like the own Chris's poll over here has been right. What's that? That's 2, 4, 5 times so far. 5 out of 5. So I kind of feel hopefully Joe Biden will win this time. And I'm feeling fairly confident. Of course, then I'm also worried because I think the other guy will do whatever he can do to try to steal it and all that other stuff. We don't got to get into that. I don't want to get everybody upset. Some of you like him. I don't want to go down that road. But that's kind of my state of mind. A little conflicted, and a little worried, and a little hopeful. So, all 3 emotions in one. Okay. Number 8. What would you consider the most overrated virtue? Overrated virtue. By the way, going on almost 40 minutes, and I'm on number 8, so this probably will be split in 3 videos. The most overrated virtue. I don't know. I need a minute to think on that. I did have an answer, but I forgot what it was. I don't know if I'd call it most overrated. First thing I'm thinking of. Would I call that most overrated? I don't know. I'm kind of stumped. I almost want to skip this one. I can't think. What would you consider the most overrated virtue? Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably going to have to come back to that in another video because I can't remember. Okay, let's go on to number 9. On what occasion do you lie? Anytime. Now, here's the thing. I'm not a big liar. I don't intentionally lie to people or lie about, but, and I'm a very honest person generally. Believe me, I consider that a great virtue is honesty. I think that's an incredibly important thing. But let's face it, there are times I'm kind of a person who's like, little white lies are okay, honestly. And I know some people are not gonna like that, agree with that, but that's okay. If I'm gonna, like, how do I say it? Depending on what it is, here's the thing. If someone asks me to go out, let's say, and I don't want to go, then I'll say, oh, I'm not feeling that great, or, oh, I have to do this, or that. That's kind of the lie I'm talking about. Now, I'll be honest with you, if you ask me, oh, how do I look in this? I'm not going to lie about that, because I don't think that that's nice, and I think, listen, I'm kind of feeling like you're asking me for an opinion now. If you don't want my opinion, don't ask for it. And I kind of feel like I don't want to lie to you and say you look great when you don't. And I certainly don't say, oh, you look horrible. But I'll be like, well, I don't think that makes you look the best. Or, I'll say something along those lines. Or I don't think that's right for you. I'm not going to just come out and say something horrible. But I'm also not going to say, oh, you look great when you don't. But on the other hand, like I said, if I don't want to go somewhere, I don't want to explain, well, why don't you want to go? I don't need to come, what, and then have to explain myself a million different times or different ways why I do want to do this or don't want to do this, or, it's just easier just to say, oh, I'm busy. Or, oh, I don't feel good. Or, I have another plans, or something like that. That's the kind of little lies I'm okay with, and that I do. I think, listen, everybody says a lie, whether they admit to it or not. We all have lied about something in life, and I've had my share of little white lies, and I would continue with them that way. Again, I don't want conflict. I don't need to explain myself. I'll just, if I need to, again, don't need to go on about it. I can't really think of other examples because I don't really lie all that much. It's just the little times like that. That's usually the only times I actually do lie. And that doesn't happen anymore. Again, I don't. It was when I was younger and I didn't want to go out. Even when I was young, like really young, a lot of times I'd be like, oh no, I don't really feel that great. Maybe next time. That's really the only times I lie. I don't really lie any other times. Okay. Number 10. What do you most dislike about your appearance? Well, that's easy. My weight. We don't need to say much more about that. I'm a big person. I've always been a big person. Hate it. Don't like it. Wish I could change it. It's hard. Tried a million times. I really don't. That's about it. Number 11. Which living person do you most despise? Oh, well, we talked about him. The charlatan who's currently supposedly running our country. Need I say more? Oh, well, I'll just say one other thing about him. Is that I generally don't despise people, or I don't hate people. Again, I'm a very loving person. I'm someone who's very forgiving. If you do, I believe in forgiveness and just let things go. Don't hang on to things. I'm not somebody who has hate in their heart, really. But for him, It's there. I've never thought I could dislike somebody as much as I dislike him. And despise is the correct word. I really despise him. He's just a horrible, horrible person in every way. And the one thing I will find it my final word on him is it's kind of sad because, I'll say two more words on him. I find him sad because I actually think that he is that way because how he was probably brought up. As great as money is, I think a lot of these rich people who grew up in money, I think that they're unloved. And I think he's that way because he was unloved. I don't think his probably mother paid probably hardly attention to him, and I'm sure his father didn't either. And whatever attention his father probably gave him was probably negative, because that's how these, especially how it is. Let's face it, it's the way of the world. Most times, the man is the one who has the money and who's rich, and he has the son, and he wants the son to be like him, or not as good as him, of course, but he wants him. So the rich man will beat down that child both emotionally, maybe physically, but emotionally, psychologically, all that kind of stuff. It's really sad. And so I do have a little bit of sympathy for him because I think that's how he was probably raised. And that's why he is the person he is today and how he is today. However, and my final word, this is my final word, is that I do think that it's kind of, I've never said this before. Excuse me. I've never said this about anybody before, but I can't think of one nice thing to say about him. And that's saying something. I mean, not one. I mean, what? You could find, even people you don't like, you could find something good to say about them. Something that they did, something that... I can't think of one thing that he has said or done that is good. And that says everything right there. Moving on. Let's see. This is question 12 and 13. What quality do you like most? I'm combining these. It says, what quality do you most like in a man? And 13 is, what quality do you most like in a woman? Now, I'm combining these two questions because I in a way admire and I don't like the qualities that I'm going to attribute to each. So let me explain. So the thing I most admire about men, I guess, would be they're able... I'm not able necessarily... Well, yeah, I am. In some ways. They're able to compartmentalize a lot more than women are, in my opinion. Whereas women... And don't get mad at me, ladies, because I know most of you, probably all you that are watching, are women. I think women are more emotional. Now, I actually think that's a good thing in most cases, or with most things. And on the opposite end, I think men need to be more emotional, just as I think women need to more compartmentalize certain things. That's kind of why I combined the answer to the question, because I think men and women could kind of learn off each other on these two aspects. Men, I think in general, need to be more emotional, think more with their, either expand their heart, grow their heart, or their emotions. I think they need to realize that feelings are more important than just, if you want, I don't want to say facts, but more important than being matter of fact. I guess I don't know exactly how would be able to describe it. Whereas, women have a very nice balance much more. I think women are much more balanced than men are. I think men are much more cut off emotionally than women are. Than women have the issue of kind of separating. That's what I'm trying to say is, so I think women are advanced in that way far beyond men anyways, in what I think they should learn from each other. So that's good. I think that's good certainly for women, that I think they can, the higher form, I guess, of the human, I think, of things would be a whole lot better if women ran more things and were control of more things. You know, it's just unfortunately not the case how it is throughout history. I think that's maybe hopefully changing little by little. But I do think, at least in the your personal life, I think women need to compartmentalize some stuff more and not be as emotional about certain things, whereas, you know, men need to be more open to their emotions and more open to what's going on. I hope that made sense. I don't want to go on more about that because I don't think I'll be able to explain myself any better, and I hope that made sense. Let's see. Maybe I'll do one or two more. 14. Which words or phrases do you most overuse? I use a lot, probably too many times. I didn't really think about this question too much beforehand. I say love a lot, or like describing things. Like, love is an important word, and I do way overuse it. Oh, I love this. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love you. You know, whatever. I use it that too much when it shouldn't. I shouldn't, because it's an important word. That would probably be my number one thing I use too much. I'll just say that one, because there's probably a few more words or phrases that I probably do use, but I can't really think of them right now, except love is definitely one. So the last question for today, and I'll do the second half in another video. Number 15, what or who is the greatest love of your life? Well, this is an easy one, and this is a great one to end on, because it is a happy one for me. And it's a simple answer, and I don't have to go into it. It's, of course, my mother. I love her more than anything. Of course. What else is there to say? You know, I love my pets. I love my dad. I love my handful of friends. But my mom's number one. It's just how it is. Just because she's not here anymore, I mean, I don't love her any less. So she's the greatest love of my life, for sure. Okay, well, let's see. Before I go, I'll show you my little bit of progress. So, this part was all done yesterday, and this is some of it I did earlier, but this is what I got done while talking to you all. Not as much as I hoped. I guess my thinking, or my trying to come up with my answers, kind of distracted me from actually working too much on it. And I hope I do better next time. So, I also hope that you liked my little getting to know you session. I hope to do this again, and I hope you'll be back. All right? More great questions coming up next time. All right? Thank you so much for watching. And remember to stay safe and stay happy, or be safe and be happy. Thanks. Bye-bye, guys.